Okay, I'm going to briefly review the long tracts and explain Brown-sequard syndrome as it relates to the neuroanatomic impairments. So, briefly here, to review our brainstem, we have this is our motor pathway, a descending lateral cortical spinal tract. And these are our cerebral peduncles here. And we're descending through the pons, through the medulla. We cross in the pyramidal decussation, and then we descend through the lateral portion, lateral funiculus in the spinal cord. So what that looks like in cross-section through these brainstem slices, so here in the pons, we have that information is coming through, and I made multiple of these because the fibers of that axon bundle, of that tract, are getting broken up because these pontine fibers, which we'll talk about when we study the cerebellum, are going back and forth across this way. So this information is still the same as this information. Here we are in the pyramids. These are actually called pyramidal fascicles when it's in the pons. Here are the pyramids. Here, still in the pyramids. And here, there's still some of the pyramids are left, but most of the fibers are now decussating. So we're actually, the fibers are coming in as though they're heading into the table here, and they're crossing this way. And they're starting to head down over here into the table at approximately this level of what will be the spinal cord. So this piece is coming down. So it's just like this. This section corresponds to right here, where that crossing is happening, and then the path just continues. Okay? And then where does it go once it's in the spinal cord? So we're interested in this patient, we're interested in a lesion at T10. So here we are, the leg representation is descending here. It's descending here. And it's here. And then those fibers, that axon is going to synapse in the anterior horn cell, in the anterior horn here. Okay? Motor, that's motor. Now let's do somatosensation. So now we have information that's coming in. So we'll have the information coming in from the same side. And it ascends and crosses, this is in the posterior columns. It crosses, recall the sensory decussation is slightly rostral. It ascends and it goes like this. Very similar. General pathway. Of course, within the brainstem, though, it's a very different location. So since this starts the body, let's start this one down here. So it comes in here. So all of this dark here, this image right there, that is all part of the gracile fasciculus. It continues along here. So these are the posterior columns, the posterior part of the cord. And here. It actually takes up this whole area, like if the thing was long. And then here in the cervical cord, the upper extremities is coming in and ascending next to it in that part. So then we move up here. Now that information, so it's coming up out of the paper. It's synapsing in the appropriate nucleus, in this case the gracile here, so actually here. So now it's synapsing, that we call that second order neurons now because it's the same information but it's synapsing. So there's some integration that happens. And then it's here and it's starting to cross over. Okay. Then the information is here, now on the contralateral side of the body, in the medial lemniscus. So these are the dorsal columns, medial lemniscus. That's why it's called the dorsal column medial lemniscus system. Then that information gets kind of, because those pontine fibers come across, it kind of pushes this medial lemniscus, those fibers, it sort of pushes it out of the way, and it makes them almost look like they're laying down. They kind of widen out here. But it's still all on that same side. Oh, I'm knocking my coracospinal spinal tract over. Okay. Okay. I'll get rid of this one. Okay. And then it keeps on ascending through the cerebral peduncle up to the brain. Primary sensory cortex, postcentral gyrus. Okay, let's do pain. Okay, so for pain and temp, now we have the information coming in. I'm doing red for pain. I realize that's different than I had in our other video, but so the information is coming in and through this dorsal horn, it's crossing. And it is going to ascend over here. So this is information from the left side of the body. It's approximately there. Approximately there. And now here up in the brainstem, there in the medulla. It's then just above, these are a little too fat, just above where this olive notch is, right there. And then when those pontine fibers come up, it gets moved next to the medial lemniscus. It's basically at the end of the medial lemniscus, right about here. So from this perspective, this information all came up on this side in terms of this picture, right? Because it crossed down at the level of the cord. So let's get our Brown-sequard damage then. So if you had damage at this that took out half of your cord, just half of your cord here, what would be the resulting impairment? That's the question that we're considering. So if you lose this half of your cord, these fibers below the level of the lesion, these fibers already crossed, and they're safely over on this side now. At the level of your lesion, those ones, no good. And our sensory information is coming up. So this is going to be from the same side of the body. You're going to lose those fibers because that information is not going to come up anymore. So if this is blocked, it's not coming up. That means you're not going to have transmission here and here either, because that information is not going to continue to ascend because it's been blocked. And so in terms of the descending information, at this level of the cord, this is also going to be out. And this is going to be out because the information is traveling on down and trying to get out at this level of the anterior horn. So essentially all of these the information will be no longer conveyed. So the only information, remember we only mapped out the information from that innervates this side of the body. So the only information that's still going to get through regarding the left side of the body is the pain and temp information. So clinically, what is this patient going to be perceiving? They're going to have left leg weakness due to the loss in the cortical spinal tract. They're going to have left leg numbness or decreased sensation, decreased 2-point discrimination. But what about pain and temp? The left side is still going to be able to have pinprick sensation, but what deficit will they have? They're going to have decreased pinprick and paresthesias on the right side of the body because this side was taken out. So the information that was coming in from the right side of the body, crossing in the anterior commissure, anterior white commissure, and ascending over here, that got taken out with all of these things. Hope that makes sense.